Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. We're really excited to have you with us, and we're really also excited to have Bob Corcoran and his colleague Chuck Lemire with us today. I'm going to do some introductions here. If you don't know anything about iHomefinder, we've been in the real estate technology space for a little over 20 years and helping agents and teams close more deals and thrive. And we're really excited to have Bob and Chuck with us here today from bobcorcoran.com is their website. It's Corcoran and Associates. And Chuck, do you want to talk a little bit about Bob and yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Hank. We're humbled and honored to be with you today. Bob and I have probably a combined almost 100 years of experience in the real estate industry and have the pleasure of working with all different types of agents, brokerages, and companies. My quick history is I sold real estate in the Boston area 35 years ago. And believe it or not, even back then, we were talking about agency, dual agency, and things we're going to cover today. But from my time as a real estate agent, I've been the chief operating officer of Remax Europe. So I've lived in Vienna, Austria, and dealt with translation and all sorts of different things in the real estate industry. I moved back to the States and was a CEO of HomeSmart in Phoenix, and I'm now director of coaching and have the privilege of working with one of the preeminent coaches in our industry. You know, there are many coaches, but none of them can say what I can say about my colleague, Bob Corcoran. His clients average over 300 transactions a year. So Bob works with new agents on new teams. He works with, large teams. He works tirelessly and has for over 30 years, helping people navigate the changing industry that we live in. So with that, Bob, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. All right. Thank you, Hank. Go ahead.
So just want to do a little housekeeping before we jump in. So we're using the GoToWebinar platform, of course. There's a control panel on the right-hand side if you haven't seen that already. And you can open and hide that control panel with a little orange button. Your audio, you can connect with telephone or your mic and speakers on your computer to listen, and your phone or mic is muted. We do have a questions panel in there, so just open up the questions panel, and we are going to have a Q&A session towards the end of the webinar, and we'll be answering. Bob will be answering your questions, and I will join in too if you have iHomefinder related questions. And finally, this webinar is being recorded, so everybody who has registered for this webinar will receive an email later today with a link to the recording. Okay, so we're just going to sort of take a look ahead, and we put a whole bunch of interesting content together for you. We think it's going to be really helpful, starting with what the new commission world means for you, and then quickly move into strategy. So Bob, take it away.
I think, when we look at today's world, COVID has changed the way real estate has been sold. And then we throw in all these lawsuits that are going on. Let me just address the lawsuits up front here. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, I have been a proponent of what is going on. When I got started in the business 30-some years ago, it was buyer beware. Every realtor was expected to look after the seller's best interest. That made no sense to me. And I sat on NAR's executive board in helping them pass agency in the United States from a federal level, okay? Because it made no sense to me that, buyer beware and buyer didn't have representation. I actually drew up an exclusive buyer agency agreement before it was a law, okay? Because I wanted to represent a buyer and look out for their best interest. So when we look at what it takes with NAR and the lawsuit, the best advice I'm going to give you, you have to look at the buyer today the same way you look at a seller. You always looked at the seller as the one who paid the commission. Now you got to look at them both equally. The sellers may pay, I think it's going to end up this way, seller will pay the listing commission, buyer agent has to negotiate their commission. So it's all about being successful in this new environment. It's not if it changes, it's when. So to be successful in real estate, number one, you have to have just an unbelievable positive attitude. Okay, people want to work with people who are excited and knowledgeable about real estate. The second thing to be successful in real estate, be a master of time management. My acronym for time is this is my excuse. We have time to do anything we want if we want it bad enough. But if you don't want it bad enough, well, then your time management really is horrible. But I think you have to really take a look at, remember, as a real estate agent, you are the CEO of a corporation. Do you think and act like a CEO every single day? Too many people get into this business thinking I can come and go as I please. That's a true statement. Yes, you're an independent contractor. You can come and go as you please, but if you want to be an average National Association of real estate agent, you'll sell 4.5 homes a year. Our clients, as Chuck said, it's, our average team is only 10 people, and our average, the people Chuck and I coach, and Lisa, okay, and the other coaches, our average is 378. That's 37 transactions per agent on the team. So I think you have to look at what it takes to be successful. Positive attitude, master of time management, but you have to, this is a contact sport, okay? If you're not talking to people, you have to get out of the habit of email and texting. Okay, real estate is a contact sport. And those of you who've been in the business a long time, and I know we have many listeners in today who've been in this business a long time, you understand it's contact sport. How many deals have you done without talking to a person? So why don't we ditch the email, ditch the text, and pick up the phone and call somebody? So to be what this world means to you, you got to know your markets, number one. Okay, you have to have a great attitude, master of your time, master your scripts as well, okay? Because once you master your scripts, you pick up the phone, you make a phone call, you're getting appointments. That's what it's all about, Hank.
Yeah.
Back to you, Hank.
I've heard you say many times before, Bob, you've quoted Michael Gerber, who wrote a book called The E-Myth, right? And it was written about 30 years ago, and it talks about working on your business, not working in your business. In this industry, we all go to our Instagram feeds and we all listen to people and the dialogue about what's going on today. Those people are really caught in the trenches. And today's seminar and working with iHomefinder is about working on the systems and the strategies that will develop a foundation for your business that will help you through very difficult times. So Bob, I've heard you talk about, the iHomefinder is all about database and our customers. Like you said, it's a contact sport. Tell us a little bit about how top teams and how agents develop their database. How do they grow their database in today's marketplace?
Well, Chuck, that's a great question. Too many people don't put enough emphasis, okay, on the data. But as a CEO of your corporation, you're a master salesperson, you're a master marketer, you're a therapist, okay, you're a preacher sometimes. But I think if we just keep it simple, sweetheart. Everything, Chuck, we do, we kiss it. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Set yourself a goal. This is what I love about iHomefinder. They have all the technology is there. The reason that people will say that a product doesn't work is because of client non-interaction. Okay, make it a goal of yours to add 3 new leads every single day to your iHomefinder database. Okay, also you got to remember, all right, the people, there's actually more to come. We'll get to it later, but it's about having a very functional, interactive database that you can count on that will work for you behind the scenes when you're sleeping at night. iHomefinder database, I know for a fact, okay, many of my clients use iHomefinder, okay, of how it interacts while you're sleeping. So I think it's about having a continuous communication with your database and staying in touch of relevant information, Chuck.
Yeah, I'll give you, for everybody on the webinar, I'll give you some stats to back up what Bob is saying. We've got dozens of clients and we deal with larger teams. Now they're in all different types of marketplaces, everything from Cleveland, Ohio to Dallas, Fort Worth to Boston, Mass, but they're also in small markets, Manchester, Vermont, Youngstown, Ohio. But the database is the key. Most of our teams have databases in excess of 10,000 people. Now That's over to the years of developing it, but that's why Bob has the simple numbers, keep it simple, of 3 a day. Because with 365 days in a year, if you take weekends off, which we seldom do as real estate agents, but let's say we take, 52 days a week off. So we're working 300 some odd days. 3 a day is 900 people. The second comment on your screen in front of you is referrals grow your business. So if you do it again the next year, that's another 900, that's 1,800 people in your database. If you asked each one for a referral, that's 3,600. That's how your database can grow quickly if you stay disciplined and have systems to be able to feed systems like iHomefinder a database to follow up with.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, as we progress through our presentation here, some important things that relate to the points Bob made a moment ago about the time management and picking up the phone. So time management, we help people work more efficiently through automated communications, which is a good segue to picking up the phone. So our automated communications are we constantly mine your database for opportunities, qualifying people in that database. Chuck, you were just mentioning these huge numbers. It's very difficult to do that manually, right? So
Correct.
What we figured out is a way to engage people based on their property search interests. So we send them emails, we send them text messages that aren't generic drip campaigns, but they are actually engaging your leads with relevant market information and listing information. And we find that these campaigns get over 35% response rate from people just sitting in the database. So, and they're particularly important for new leads coming in because they send a follow-up immediately. So that really increases your chances of converting a lead. Bob, I'm sure this is one of the things you talk about all the time with your clients is you have to respond to leads as soon as possible. I mean, there's studies that show your response rate from leads will go up almost 400% if you respond within 2 minutes. So we're giving you a competitive edge that way, and we're helping you master your time management by automating a lot of processes that we're going to talk about a little bit later. And these automated communications are giving you the opportunity to have these phone calls and get into that contact sport that you were talking about, Bob, because the technology.
What I think is important though is that iHomefinder puts together some really great drip systems. However, those are templates, folks. Please do yourself a favor, read through all the templates you're going to attach to a current prospect before you activate it. Personalize it to fit you, your market, and your personality. You can be, low end and just, hey, I'm just taking what iHomefinder gives me and I'm just going to attach it and go for it. If you want better results, spend the time customizing your drip, and iHomefinder gives you that ability to customize the drip. All of my clients, I will never allow my client to send out a templated drip without customizing it to them and to their marketplace. I've been in this a long time. Dave, you remember Dave Beeson, Chuck, and Hank, right? He wrote the letter writer campaign, right? And I remember one time, and I got caught in a hole on this one. Okay, it was off the shelf. This is where I learned to customize it. Okay, it was a past client follow-up program, and one came out in November about winterizing your house. I get a client from California saying, "Why the hell did you have me buy this product? We get no snow. Why do I need salt?" There, that's when I learned 30 years ago. Customize any drips. Yeah. Okay, and do yourself that favor. Customize them because they give you the ability to do it. However, I've reviewed their stuff, and what they have off the shelf, I don't have to worry about you putting snow out in California or salt out in California. Hey, okay, It's generic enough. You can run with it, but the more successful agents will customize it. And don't rewrite it all. Okay, don't major in minors, okay? If you need to change a word or two or something or add a paragraph, Do that, but do not overhaul what they're doing, because artificial intelligence is showing us that we have enough information to be dangerous.
Correct.
And that's why I love what iHomefinder and the direction they're going, Hank. Back to you, Hank.
Yeah. So we're helping you efficiently manage your time, engaging these leads with these drips, and you can customize them like Bob said. And especially that first message that goes out, really dial that in to give people a reason to want to work with you. Talk about your expertise in your local area. Talk about the things that differentiate you, and get that all in that first message. So, people are spending a lot of money on leads and different lead generation systems. We, by the way, will take leads in from over 30 different services, and those leads can come in and immediately get a follow-up, and you'll know, where they came from based on what your ad is targeting. You can speak to, what they're going to be interested in that welcome, and then we supplement that with personalized listing recommendations and market information. So it's really helpful that way.
Yeah, and what Bob and I have found, Hank, is iHomefinder is a great platform to be able to add other technologies on. A lot of agents think of technologies being separate, but the combination is really powerful.
Yes.
Bob and I certainly have been advocates of IVRs and finding out what does a homeowner care about most? What's the value of my house? And in today's day and age of inflation, that's changing on a constant basis. So to be able to incorporate in your communications, HomeBot or Fellow, to be able to say, hey, Mr. Owner, you might be shocked at what your house is worth. Click this link to take them to that process. It engages the customer with all of the systems that you have. And that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the CRM in our system, but we commonly get the question, well, I already have a CRM I'm happy with. Can I still use iHomefinder? Of course, yes. The answer is a big yes, because we can take leads in from all these different lead generation services, get those campaigns going that you're not really going to find anywhere else, that are tailored for people's needs, and then also send those leads to your third-party CRM. So we can take leads in from anywhere, we can send them anywhere. So side by side is definitely something people are doing. They're taking advantage of the campaigns that we have that they're not going to find elsewhere, and the immediate follow-ups, and the property search that can go on your website, or you can get a website with it. So it does integrate with other services, and you can use it that way. And we advise people they do so.
Yeah.
And then as far as growing the database, I just had one last point before you continue, Bob. We have an app, and that allows people to enter leads into their iHomefinder account no matter where they are. So you're at your kid's soccer game, wherever you may be, you can add a new contact. So getting these 3 per day becomes a lot easier if your phone is with you, which it usually is. You'll be able to, reach that goal pretty quickly.
I read a stat recently, Hank. You'll appreciate this. Our cell phones are never more than 4 feet away from us 24 hours a day. That's sad. We use them now as clocks in our bedroom, right? It's still sitting there. Yep. Damn, I hate that.
Okay. Yeah. You were talking earlier about stating your value, Bob, and why you're worth your 3% commission fee and scripting. We do have some places for that within our product as well. So we have lead registration prompts. Yeah.
Hank, what I think, looking at our current environment, with these lawsuits that are coming down, and folks, don't get in the weeds on this. A CEO, as all of you who are real estate agents, you are the CEO of your corporation. A CEO is never going to get in the weeds about legal stuff. They're going to say, let the courts deal with it. You got to do the same thing. Don't get too involved in this. The last ruling, articles I've read, that it's going to the courts for approval in November of this year, okay? So the only thing you need to know is that there's going to be changes. However, you need to start preparing for it. They're projecting a $30 billion reduction in real estate commissions. Folks, if you don't know it, it's coming on the buy side, okay? I heard a speaker back in January this year. He said, here, let me address a lawsuit He said, folks, realtors, please listen carefully. You need to start looking at the buyer in the same eyes you looked at a seller. In the past, it was buyer beware, seller paid the commission. Those days are over, and there's going to change. So, listing agents, all the $30 billion reduction in commission, in Bob Corcoran's opinion, is coming on the buy side. Okay, we're going to see a lot of flat fee brokers. Okay, reduced commission are going to be there. Well, if you're strong on your value proposition, why are you worth a 3% commission fee? You need to make sure that you are getting exclusive buyer agency agreements signed with buyers. And do you know your value why am you going to pay me 3%? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you cannot explain to me your value proposition, why would I hire you, number one? As a buyer, I want to hire you to get me a house at the lowest possible price and the best possible terms and conditions. And so when you can validate that of why you're worth that fee versus my average buyer I worked with paid $20,000 less than the average agent in the market. Those are all trackable numbers. If you track your data, you can track it. Well, if you save a buyer $20,000, how much at 3% commission, Chuck? How much money is that? That's quite a bit, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. So you got to be able to know your value proposition when working with buyers, unless you're going to be a cut rate broker, and that's not who we are. We're here to get you because we know how hard we work for our commission dollars, but you have to clearly articulate, our value proposition. What all of a sudden I'm getting massive feedback. Are we okay?
Yep, we're okay. We can hear you well. Yep.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
Oh, it's back.
When I think that when we're looking, at utilizing, part of your value proposition is, what is everything that you're using? What does the value of a iHomefinder account do for you in your value proposition? It's being able to articulate that to your clients, all the pieces, things you have in place to clearly state your value of why you're worth that 3%. And please, all you listening today, don't diminish what you're worth, because 3% is quite low. And what I see here is, Chuck, I also see commissions on the list side raising. It's going to be so much easier for somebody taking a listing now, instead of having to negotiate a 6 or a 7% commission. I see listing sides get more like 4%.
Yep.
I see the commissions rising on the list side, but protect your commission on the buy side. And I think that's extremely important, especially I think when we look at your websites and your iHomefinder account, or if you don't have an iHomefinder account, please reach out to Hank. And this is, in Bob Corcoran's opinion, folks, it's the best thing. iHomefinder is the best thing since Pockets. And with all of the investment that Hank iHomefinder has made, especially in artificial intelligence, to make it sound human, it clearly is helping real estate agents that I've never seen in 30-some years. And so for that, Hank, Chuck and I thank you, because you made our life easier.
Yep.
But when we talk about lead registration, though, how does iHomefinder differ in the lead registration front, Hank?
So I think you're talking about the way you can communicate your value within the registration prompts. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes.
Right. So the nice thing about these prompts is they're throughout the whole search experience on someone's site. So when someone conducts a search, a lot of people would love to come back to the site and be able to access that search again. So our system will say, hey, would you like to save that search? And then if they say yes, then they're prompted to register. And then within that form, if somebody's like weighing whether they should be registering on the site, you have an opportunity to present your value and custom messaging. Additionally, outside of that search prompt, we present a pop-up that the client can control. You can control whether this thing appears at all, or if you would like to have it appear, most people do. You can control when and whether or not it's required for registration, and that's a pop-up, and it'll appear on your website. And within that pop-up, you can have custom messaging. You can even have a little video in there. So that's another opportunity to constantly remind people of what your value is if they have not already registered as a lead.
Excellent, excellent. So I think as we move this thing along, we have what we know we need to do. We know what our strategy is. Now it comes down to maximizing your opportunities.
Yeah. So
Chuck, what do you have to say about that?
Well,
Hank, go ahead.
Yeah, there are 4 really big important points here. There's a lot more that you can do with our service, but these are the most important ones and the big takeaways I think that people should have, and they relate to what we've been talking about so far already. Importing all of your leads into your account is the first one. If you're new to your account, our team can help you import all those leads in one step. So they're all in there, and then all those leads will be constantly mined by the automation that we've been talking about. It's constantly reaching out to them with text and email messages, with market-related information that's relevant to them, because we're looking at what they're looking at on your site, what searches they're conducting. So
Hey, hold on. Let me put a pause. Ladies and gentlemen listening, the number one point: import all your leads in your HomeFinder account. When I look at all technology over the years, this is the one area that just frosts me. Why agents are so lazy, that they don't take their Excel sheet or I don't care, your Boomtown account, your Sync account, any other database out there. If you want to maximize the value of your iHomefinder account, please import all your leads today. I want everybody to write down right now with number one action item from today's webinar. I will make sure that all of my leads are imported into my HomeFinder account by Thursday at 3 o'clock. Today is only Wednesday, right? Okay. I never have a Friday deadline because Friday is reserved for my wife, Brenda. Okay. So we have 3 o'clock deadline. Please import all your leads. How you can be able to maximize, the opportunities that exist in front of you if you don't have all of your contacts in one central location. I get so frustrated, Chuck. You've seen this and you heard me go ballistic on clients. They have all their contacts are in 4 or 5 different areas, but they don't have one central database.
Yeah, and it's because people in the real estate industry do consider themselves to be independent, but they don't consider themselves to be the CEO of their business. If we use an example, if we take ourselves out of the real estate industry and take a look at dentists, right, as an example, if a dentist was working for 20 years as a dentist and wanted to sell their business, what is the number one value of that business when they go to sell it?
Net profit.
Yes, based on their client, right? What are they selling? Yeah, of course, they might be selling some equipment. They're not selling their own skill as a dentist because they're leaving. When someone like a dentist sells their business, they're selling their book of business, meaning their database. So as a real estate practitioner, why is it that we don't focus more on the development of our database, knowing full well that's truly the value? It's in the statement. You have to be the CEO of your business and build your database. Now, what we're talking about with the 4 different bullets that you have, Hank, and what Bob's talking about is put them in one place so that you can determine the difference between the clients, because some are younger and first-time home buyers, some are older and are going to be downsizing. We need to know who they are in order to cater our skill based on the circumstance. We know one thing in this business: every transaction is unique. Why? Because every buyer or every seller is unique. What iHomefinder does is gives you the system to be able to automate that, make it smooth and easier, and save you time and money. And also keeps it in one place so that if you ever did want to sell your business, that's where your value is. And as much as we coach top teams, Bob has helped people sell their business for numbers that would shock people that are in the real estate industry.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Chuck, because getting them into the database is one thing. The second thing is categorizing them, right? Putting them in some type of buckets, right? So you can segment them and send the right communications,
Yep.
reach out to the right people based on their interests, because that's the key to marketing, is the right message to the right people at the right time. And if you treat them
It
all
really,
as
yeah,
if
it
you treat them
really
all as the
is,
same
Hank.
person, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is. So if you look at, here's the meat and potatoes of this webinar and this screen right now. Import all your leads in your iHomefinder account. That has to be action item number one. It makes no sense if you're going to take the time to import all your leads in iHomefinder to not assign every lead a monthly campaign. All right. According to NAR, 85% of realtors stop communicating with the past client within 6 months. If you take the advice that we're sharing with you today, import your leads, assign every lead a monthly marketing report campaign. All right, right there, a monthly report is 12 touches a year. All right, you just beat 85% of the realtors in your market, because now at least you're touching them once a month versus never. Then the marketing automation, I think, as you activate that, okay, it makes the interaction with your system far more prolific to get a successful transaction by automating it. And I think by prioritizing the iHomefinder lead rating system, which I think a lot of the clients using iHomefinder, they are not aware of what the lead rating content is. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, so it's another special thing that we can do because we have the property search connected to the CRM. We're able to determine who's active, who's not. Are they clicking through emails? Are they looking at listings? We aggregate a whole bunch of different information and boil that up into a lead rating, so that instead of a generic list of leads who all look the same, now you have a list of leads with 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star. And you really have a better understanding of where your best bets are. And if you're trying to maximize your time, that's going to be really, really helpful.
Yep. And I'll give you a couple tips of what our teams are doing in using technology like iHomefinder in that way. Because what Bob and I have found is, unfortunately, too many agents sit around and wait for leads to come to them. And that doesn't work. You have to reach out. So what is reaching out? Well, if you hold an open house on a Saturday or Sunday, you might meet 3 or 6 people. Those are your 3 for the day. But I have a team in Orlando in Winter Park. There's a huge development, 2,000 homes. They're built in 1965. They're looking in the tax records and finding people that have lived in their house and bought it in 1965 to 1970. And the message they send them is, we have a large database of buyers that are looking for homes. We know you might not sell this year or right away, but you have more than $500,000 in equity in your home. Please give us a call, because we have the buyer. You wouldn't have to go on the market. You wouldn't have to deal with all that aggravation. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us, because you've heard coaches for ages say a seller only cares about 3 things. How much am I getting? How soon am I getting it? And at what aggravation? So if you can help solve those 3 things and add to your database, because think about it. If you only had 3 people that bought their house in 1965, what are your chances of someone calling you saying, yes, I want to? 1 in 3? No. How about if you had 30? What if you had 300? What if you had 3,000? But you have to have a system like iHomefinder to house them, categorize them, and continue to send that message.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
That's
really
so
important
true.
point. Yeah, there's another really important point you made earlier about owning your database, and rather than it being, with your brokerage and not with you, or in these different unrelated places, unconnected places. If they're all in your account, all of that automated communication is bringing them back to your site, right? So it's increasing your website traffic. It's educating everybody in your database about what's happening in the market, that goes with you no matter where you go in your career. That not just the list of leads, but all of that interactivity with your website. It's a package, and it's an educational system that you take around with you. So it's really a powerful tool.
Well, the other thing is that Stephen Covey taught us, think with the end in sight.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, maybe you don't know this, but eventually you're getting out of real estate. You can be like most real estate agents, fold up your book of business and ride off into the sunset. Our Chuck's and my philosophy is we want to help you sell that database so you can have a residual income. And by implementing the strategies we're talking about today, you're actually setting yourself up to have an exit strategy that when you want to retire from real estate, you can have income beyond. Whether you sell your book of business, up front for a set amount, or you sell it for a referral fee for the rest of your life, set yourself up for a residual income for the rest of your life by doing what we're asking you to do today. Don't many real estate agents leave millions of dollars on the table. I had a guy who helped him sell his business. I asked him, originally I said, what do you think your business is worth? He goes, $300,000. All right, so I did the review of his business, look at his P&Ls and his operation, how he did it. We wound up a year and a half later selling his business for $1.5 million. And do I have a grateful client? Yeah. But it's showing him the value of what they have. And I will tell you right now, the value of your iHomefinder database is going to be more valuable than your actual database you have, whether you're using Top Producer or any other CRM for real estate. Your iHomefinder database will be worth more money than any database out there if you have implemented the strategies we're discussing.
Yeah. I'll share something that I've heard from Bob for years, and he'll react because it's one of the fundamental reasons why agents don't do this is they have a poverty mentality. Isn't it interesting today, with all due respect to any company, any brand that allows their agents to build an additional downline, that agents will focus on building their downline before they'll build their own business. Yet think about what Bob just said, that you could sell it for 1.5 million. Why wouldn't you build your own business? Why? Because fundamentally, we as real estate practitioners don't think as highly of ourselves as we should. And quite frankly, there are hundreds of people on this webinar that make more money than most other CEOs of other small businesses, yet they don't think of themselves that way. So you have to be the CEO of your business and put they'll say things like, oh, that system doesn't work. They're not working the system. It's not that the system doesn't work. You got to work the system.
I agree, Chuck. That's a great point. Okay, let's move it on then.
Yeah, we have a Q&A session, and we have a whole bunch of questions. So why don't we just jump into those?
All right, very good.
Before we do that too, also, if you have an account with iHomefinder already and don't already know this, we do have training webinars to help you implement all these things we're talking about. And our support team actually helps you implement a bunch of things too. But make sure you check out these training webinars. Go to our website, and under resources, you'll find those.
Okay. And folks, I'm telling you right now, if you can't find the answers to your question, you email Bob at bobcorcoran.com and I'll get you your answer immediately.
Yeah, that was my first question, Hank, is I know you've got your libraries and everything else, but my first question in the Q&A is, how can Bob and I help you and help your clients in the future?
Great. Yeah.
So,
the answer to that is get in touch.
First question up. Yeah.
We're gonna share contact information for Bob and Chuck, before we end today. So everybody will have that. But it's bobcorcoran.com, and then we'll give you Chuck's email address, which is chuck@bobcorcoran.com. But we'll show that again on the screen here. One of the questions was, from someone who's using a third-party lead generation system and asking if those leads can come in to their account and the campaigns. So yeah, that is possible. We work with over 30 different services, so you can definitely do that. You can even assign leads to campaigns based on their source. So if you know you're advertising for a specific zip code, you can make sure people enter a campaign that has been set up to send them market information for that specific zip code. So in the case where you're bringing in leads externally and people haven't been on your site yet, and so there is no search history, we can base all of this intelligent content, market information, listings information, we can base that on a geographic area that you choose. So when they come into your campaigns, they're getting engaged with the right market content.
That's awesome, Hank. You know, Bob and I teach our teams to develop two sides of leads. There's organic and manufactured. And an example of organic leads is expireds, for sale by owners, for rent by owners, you know, geo farming, circle prospecting. It's all everything that people reach out. Now there are systems that assist with that. Vulcan 7, RedX on the expired side. So there are in the organic side systems that can help agents with that. It's great to know that that can be transferred into iHomefinder. Same thing on the manufactured side with agents and teams that have Zillow, you know, Realtor.com, Sync, Boomtown, and others that can filter in. It's interesting in today's day and age. If you go back 30 years when, you know, Bob was first coaching, there was advertising and promotion. You'd put your listing in the newspaper, in a little, you know, a real estate book, and agents would put their listings in multiple locations, right? It's amazing to me that agents don't think the same way today. They'll use one lead generation system. Well, if you were advertising 12, 30 years ago, why don't you have 12 different lead systems, as long as it's within budget of your total gross income and you grow it over time?
Yeah. And we have tools that'll help people understand what's happening to those leads from those different sources. So like any marketing campaign, you want to understand your ROI, right? Are these leads worth it or not? And so people with our CRM, you'll be able to see, oh, the leads coming in from this service aren't doing so well. The ones from this service are. So we can help you maximize your advertising spend as well.
Excellent.
Awesome. Next
also,
question.
Yeah, it's also important on that point, those leads coming in from other services. Don't forget, we mentioned earlier, those can go to other services. So we can forward those, in addition to taking them into the campaigns. You like another CRM for different purposes, you can get those leads in there as well. So you can have them in both worlds, take advantage of the best of both.
Excellent. Excellent.
Let's see.
This has been good. I want the recording of this.
Okay, sorry, I'm just reading the questions here. Thanks for giving me a moment.
There's so much information here, and while Hank's weeding through the questions, folks, if we do not answer your question, because of time restraints, we'll email you the reply to your question. So don't worry, we'll answer all the questions, whether it's live or through email.
Yeah, we got a message that from Lisa Gore, who apparently knows you guys, and she upgraded to Max about 6 weeks ago and said that she's been revising the emails, and she find that people like the map searches and are saving searches and looking at the emails that she sends.
Awesome.
Wow, sorry, I'm sorry, that was Isabella. I'm sorry about that, Isabella. Lisa left. She said hi. And that's it.
That's great. Good stuff.
But yeah, thanks for that, Isabel. I'm glad things are working out for you. Let us know if there's anything else we can help you with, dialing all that stuff in.
Yeah, that's great to hear that from Isabella, though. That was awesome. It's just validation of the platform. When you apply yourself, you get results.
Yeah. You know, one of our training. Our head of training was on this webinar a moment ago and wanted me to remind everyone, He popped in just to have me remind everybody. Our training webinars are live. So you get to ask questions in real time with the trainer. They're not all just recorded. You can access recorded versions as well. But we put a lot of effort.
How often are the training sessions?
Every week there's different sessions. Some sessions have 2 a day and different topics. So
folks, please.
Yeah.
Take
You have to
advantage
do
of
this.
live training is better than recorded training.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, it's all about adopting these features, right? Putting them into place. Like we've been repeating this over and over again. It's one thing to have the account under your belt. It's another thing to have it all dialed in. And it's really when you have it dialed in the way we're talking about that it really starts humming. So don't forget, this is going to be recorded. Those 4 points that we said that you really need to do, those are going to be in the recording. You'll be able to get to those again if you weren't able to write those down. Let's see. Somebody asked, Aaron asked if it can be incorporated with KW command. So the way we integrate with other systems, I can tell you this, is we can forward any lead to another service through our lead forwarding mechanism. And if you have another service and you want to be able to send it into our system, that's possible too, depending on the format that system sends the emails. But generally, most systems have a sort of a protocol that can be used universally. So, Aaron, definitely.
The short answer is yes, it can be.
Short answer, yeah, it should be, yeah. I just can't speak for other systems and how they send them out, but we can take them in from we can take them in from pretty much anywhere.
And folks, if you find that there's a system you're using that is maybe not as cohesive to your iHomefinder account, reach out to your contact person at iHomefinder and say, look, I'm getting leads from this category, but I can't directly import it. I find that hard to believe in today's technology world. All of it's possible, folks, please. And if you don't get the results from iHomefinders, you call Bob Corcoran. I'll get your results. They'll do it. Trust me.
We want you to succeed, and we have a really, really exciting roadmap that I can't talk about in detail here, but I have seen it, and it blows me away. I've been with iHomefinder for 13 years, and this is probably the most excited I've been about. I mean, I've always been excited about the new things because we're always innovating, but this stuff is like, as far as helping agents do the business of real estate, not just the tools of property search and some campaigns. We're really interested in how else can we use our unique position as a search provider and CRM system to help people work more efficiently. So, wow, pausing the system here. Sorry, my screen sharing got a little weird. I think we're back. Here we go.
We're back. Yeah.
Okay. And Dino, our training manager, said thanks. So get to know Dino. Dino's your friend.
Dino, your new best friend, folks, listening on today's call. Reach out to Dino. Inundate him. Bury his butt.
Let's make Dino famous. Yeah.
Amen. Dino's a great guy, by the way. Hey, he's got a great personality. He relates to people. He talks your language, and that's why we love Dino. He's a real man. He's not AI.
Dino's great. And, you know, he has these conversations with agents and brokers in all these trainings like, well, this is my situation, and I want to be able to do this, or this is my situation, I want to be able to do that. We will help you accomplish your individual goals and help you get from point A to point B and get your account humming.
Okay. All right. Hey, we got 9 minutes left, and respecting people's time. How many more questions can I answer?
I think we nailed them.
Nailed them? Okay.
Yeah.
Chuck, what comments you got?
Final questions is, you know, we can count on one thing in life, and that's change. Nothing stays the same. So you have to adapt with change. What I see a lot today is agents sitting on the sidelines, wondering what's going to happen. And if you're sitting there, this business is going to pass you by. So our recommendation is get in the game, keep building your database, keep developing deep, meaningful relationships. Use iHomefinder to send current and relevant information based on the customer that you're dealing with. If they're a new buyer, that's a certain set of scripts and information. If it's an older person that's been living in a house for a long while, it's a totally different approach. The more you learn, the more you earn. So keep learning, keep developing and internalizing your scripts, communicate them through iHomefinder, through direct contact, through your social networks, through email, through text. You meet people and then you develop a relationship based on trust. The more trust you have, the more business you're going to have. So stay in the game, keep working, and everything will work out the way it's going to work out. We can't control it, so let's work with it.
Thanks, Chuck. You know, when I look at the changing landscape of the real estate industry, folks, don't get tied up in the NAR lawsuits, okay? You need to know what you need to know. Treat the buyer like you did the seller for all these years, okay? We are so confident in the iHomefinder product that if you sign up for a iHomefinder product and you don't recoup an investment, Bob Corcoran and Chuck Lemire, or I'll say Chuck Lemire, will refund your money. Okay, no, I know this product. I've used this product. When used properly, the ROI is probably going to be 10 times minimum what you can expect from the product. But ladies and gentlemen, you got to show up yourself.
Yep.
We are so passionate about real estate, and I know we have hundreds of listeners right now, but I implore you, if you are a iHomefinder, client already, assess what you're doing. Have you given iHomefinder the benefit of the doubt and implemented 100% what they're recommending you do? No product is perfect,
right,
but it's perfect with your involvement. So we encourage you, if we can help you implement strategies, please get a hold of Chuck or Bob.
Yep.
We're happy to help you, okay? And if you want to talk about how to 10 times your business through coaching, reach out to Chuck or Bob at bobcorcoran.com. Hey, this has been such a fulfilling webinar for us.
Me too.
Webinars have kind of gone, on the wayside since COVID. Bringing them back, I think, and educating people who use our platforms is so important to the future and success of this business we've all made a great living from. So let's keep the trajectory moving north, okay?
I absolutely agree. Yeah, thank you both so much for your time. Really enjoyed spending time with you and sharing all this information with everyone. Hopefully it was helpful to everybody who was able to join. We're so happy to see so many people show up today. So I know it's tough to take an hour out of your day, so we really appreciate that. So thanks, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thanks, Hank. Always here
Bye.
for you. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you. God bless. Bye-bye.